Monday morning, first cup of coffee, day getting off to a good start, and I've got a very important subject to cover, and that's this North Korea, South Korea tension situation, and the fact that President Barack Obama of the United States of America and President of China, Hu Jintao, spoke by phone. But before I even get into these subjects, can I go on record and tell you, I'm Paul Begley, and no, I'm not Pastor Rick Warren from the Saddleback Church, although comments have been sent to me, and I've even had a person walk up to me and ask me if I was Rick Warren. No, I'm not Pastor Rick Warren. I don't think I look that much like him. Neither am I the brother of Alex Jones, the great conspiracy theorist down there in Texas. I'm not a friend of Leslie Nielsen. I don't know where that came from, but I got that one the other day. And I'm not the late John Candy's little brother. Planes, trains, and automobiles, he wasn't my brother. And the latest comparison to celebrities that I've received, and I guess it's because some of my videos I wear a hat, and there was a side view, and I'm driving down the road. But I was considered that I look like a cousin to Michael Moore. Let me just say that I'm Paul Begley, and I want to touch on the key subjects, current events, and the Bible prophecies that are facing us today. Let's get right into this China thing, though, because I think it's really critical. I'm going to read you an article. This is from Reuters, and this is critical information. The Chinese President Hu Jintao Monday warned U.S. President Barack Obama that tensions on the Korean Peninsula could spiral out of control if not dealt with properly. You think? What do you call North Korea firing shells into the island of innocent civilians in South Korea because they say a couple of their shells that they fired in a military exercise that they told them they were going to do 6 months in advance fell a little too close to what they call their waters? I mean, let's face it. Before President Hu Jintao warns the American president about tensions, could he pick up the phone and talk to his little brother, Kim Jong-il? Well, I'm going to take another drink of coffee. I'm not going to get emotional. It's Monday. I probably won't get emotional. I may get angry, but not emotional. Let me read on, okay? He warned President Barack Obama that tensions on the Korean Peninsula could spiral out of control if not dealt with properly. Their first discussion on this subject since the North Korea fired artillery shells into South Korea nearly 2 weeks ago, killing 4 people and wounding 18. Analysts say that Hu's comments show a greater sense of urgency in the Chinese leadership over the mounting tensions, and also it's an attempt to avoid the persecution that Beijing is siding with its ally from Pyongyang, Kim Jong-il, North Korea, to face off against the United States, Japan, and South Korea, whose foreign ministers met later in the day to discuss the North Korean situation. Now, the White House has said that President Barack Hussein Obama, in a telephone call to the President of China, Hu Jintao, urged Beijing to work with the United States and others to send a clear message to the North Koreans that its provocations are unacceptable. Now, China, the chair of the stalled international nuclear talks, which was supposed to be a 6-nation discussion, with Pyongyang, is not invited to the United States, Japan, and South Korea talks that are going to be taking place in Washington. But the three are expected to discuss Beijing's proposal for the emergency regional talks on this crisis. So what you have going on in Washington is that United States of America, Japan, and South Korea are all getting together. Those three. And China's not invited. And China's calling Obama, warning him that this thing could get completely out of control if you don't handle this thing properly. Well, let's start with China picking up the phone and calling Kim Jong-il and saying, you little idiot, don't fire at them. But here's why I don't think that happens. Because I think China ordered it. I think China is angry. The underlying problem, the real tension is not North Korea, South Korea. No, the real tension is China and America over the dollar, over the currencies, over the exchange of money that's hurting China's economy now that the American dollar is dragging it down. And then it's really hurting the Chinese economy when the president orders the printing presses to fire up day and night and crank out $600 billion of monopoly money and flood the market, which is Obama's economic plan for America, which is going to create high inflation, dropping the value of the dollar extremely down and hurting the entire world currency. And then if you're Maurice Strong, who worked 30 years for the United Nations, pushing a one world government, you're standing over there, the former UN billionaire from China who's made billions of dollars off global warming and world order seminars, sits quietly in his penthouse in China. That's right, China. Let me finish this Reuters article. Anyway, the phone call itself could be an attempt to avoid the perception that it's a 3-on-3 confrontation. The United States, South Korea, and Japan versus China, Russia, and North Korea. Well, I don't think it's a perception, Mr. President Hu of China. It's not a perception that it's 3-on-3. It's a bold-faced reality. It's a bona fide fact that we have three, and I know I've got people who say, quit saying Russia's communist. Okay. All right. The former communist nation of Russia, the current Red Dragon communist nation of China, and the little puppet on a string communist dictator in North Korea. It's Russia, China, North Korea versus United States, South Korea, and Japan. And then you've got radical Islam. Sits on the sideline, waits to see what's going to happen so that they can interject somehow their jihadist evil mentality. And you know who they're going to side with. It won't be with the Christians. It won't be with the democracy. It won't be with freedom. No, because radical Islam has nothing to do with freedom. Has nothing to do with freedom of choice of the people. But it's all about oppression. It's all about control. It's all about abuse and human rights violations, just like the communist regimes that we have looked at since Karl Marx and Lenin and Stalin have had their way. I'm Paul Begley. Good morning, America. Will open your spiritual eyes to the fact that this world is not the place that you dreamed the utopia society would exist. I'm Paul Begley, and I'm not Michael Moore, because he's an idiot.